Hey, GW, coming to you live. Yeah, it's a little early in the week. I know that, but a couple things have happened here personally that I would like to discuss. Now, one could say that this is a sequel to my YouTube video, Bad Doctor Visit, in which I detailed the worst doctor visit in my history of my life. So, yesterday, this is what went down yesterday. You guys ready for this? Yesterday, actually, no. Let me start back a little bit. Let me give you the yeah, not prequel to this story, I guess you could say. So yes, I was right. Um, I said on my last video about the doctor visit and how I take sleeping pills and how you know critical they are for me going to sleep, and that's all I use them for. I don't use them to get high. I use them to go to sleep. That's what I do. And I thought after I made that bad doctor visit, I went down and I don't know if I detailed it, but I signed a controlled substance, which I think I did talk about in the formative video. But and I thought, okay, business as usual, done deal. So I still had sleeping pills all the way up till about a week ago. I had maybe about 15 left. So I go ahead and I call for a refill. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. And I have a new doctor, or at least had a new doctor in Dr. D. I'll just say that because I don't want to get nobody in trouble. I don't want nobody to trouble me. I don't want nobody attacking me. But you know what? I don't care. So anyway, Dr. D says to me, yeah, I'll write your prescription. Now, I had originally 90 pills, right? That's 3 months worth. So y'all do the math. So I'm thinking in my head, great. I call them up, refill. The bottle had one refill. Hey, cool, right? So go down to Rite Aid, pick it up, bring it home, and I realize the bottle's real small. And I'm like, what in the hell? So open it up, count 30. Okay, so that's 60 away from the 90. So I'm like going, okay, would doctor screw up something? Maybe the pharmacy screwed up, whatever. No. So I called the doctor's office and I'm like, hey, you know what? They shorted me 60 pills, right? They're like, no. Now, the other doctor who I had an altercation with, who I really don't like, who I don't really care about, who can basically, is lower than pond scum, pardon my French, even though I don't speak it, basically still had control of the thing. And I was like, hey, you know what? No. So they made it up in their mind that they want to push this damn sleep study on me because apparently insurance change, medicine change, and all these big corporations make you want to jump through hoops. Great. But I'm 45 years old. I've been taking that stuff for at least 40 years. And guess what? I'm still kicking and I'm still around. I'm still red hot, right? But they want all this crap. And so they tell me, well, first of all, I call, right? And the lady was real nice. I noticed that on a Sunday, so I called on a Monday. The lady was real nice. And she said, yeah. She said, I'll get that called in for you. No problem. You'll be all right. So again, then I realized that they ain't calling it in. Now I have 30 pills and I'm still short to 60, right? And so I says, okay. I said, why didn't I get the full amount? And I called after work, around like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, somewhere in there. Probably 4:30, I think, 4 o'clock. And they said, well, we're just giving you a month, and then you have to go for a sleep study. That's what they said. Again, I already know what my problem is. My adrenaline spikes when everybody else's goes down at night, and I can't sleep. So you take away someone's ability to sleep, they're going to be worth a crap in the morning. That's for one. For two, when I first called, I was hung up on. Now, this was yesterday. So I was hung up on. And I said, okay. I called back. And I talked to somebody, I don't know if it was in the switchboard, because everything's automated. They go through all the switchboards, guys, and then they shoot the call down to the doctor's office, right? So I don't know if it was a switchboard person or another person, but I explained the problem, gave them my date of birth, gave them all that stuff, right? And they were like, well, there's nothing they can do for you anymore. They don't want to help you. And then click. I said, oh, no. So I called back. And I just wanted to get an answer. Like, why did I get 30 pills? And finally I get this other girl, and she's like, oh, I don't know. So I said, all right, I'm tired of playing around. Give me the office manager, which I talked to. And tonight was the last time I talked to her, bar none. So then I explained to the office manager that I was hung up on this and that. And she decides to tell me that they want to push this damn sleep study on me. Again, I know what my problem is. I don't need a damn doctor to tell me what my problem is. My wife knows, my mom knows, it's clearly documented, and the person that was in charge of it is now a big member of the medical board. So that leaves me out in the cold, right? Because now I'm feeling like pushed in bulldozers, and I do not like the attitude. So I said, okay. I told my wife, I said, you know what? I said, I'm tired of getting this attitude. I'm tired of it. And then my wife proceeds to get back on, social media and look up, or not social media, look on the web and look up the doctors. And both of them have negative reviews like you wouldn't believe. One person called Dr. P, we'll call her that, a so-called doctor, a hooker in training. That's one of the reviews. One girl said that she gave her husband her private phone number, says, call me for anything you like. Now, let me think about that for a minute. Would you trust somebody in a medical profession who gave you her phone number, right? What does that say about her? She's a worthless piece of trash. That's what it says to me. So anyway, I don't want to get off in a rant about her because I'm done with her. She's yesterday's news or whatever. And she's probably the worst person I've ever come against up in my life. And I'm going to tell you that. Anyway, Dr. D, I thought I could trust Dr. D. I thought Dr. D was my man. I thought he was in the corner because he had known me. He wrote prescriptions for me. He was all right. Until I found out that they work side by side, and it don't take a genius to figure that out. Now, I was assured by the office manager that not one of them plays against the other, but it sure seemed like it to me. So I said, you know what? Now, my previous primary care doctor, right? They told me she no longer practices. She moved to Florida. That's what I was told. So my wife on a whim calls the neighboring location in Slippery Rock. And they tell her, oh, she's up here. She's been practicing for a year. I said, well, let's go back and see her. Because we have nothing but bad luck. We've been nothing but pushed around. And we are at our wit's end. And I'm not being forced to do a damn thing. I'm 45 years old. You don't force me to do shit. All right? You don't. Sorry. Getting off on a little tangent here. But anyway, so I call the Slippery Rock location. Right? And my wife talks to them. She talks to them. They're the nicest people. And they said, well, do you mind telling us what location you come from? And I said, yeah. I said, we come from the Butler location. I said, we just dropped them like 5 minutes ago. Why? And I basically said we had a few incidents, and they were like, oh, we get a lot of them coming in. People don't like that office. And I'm like, wonder why. There must be a track record here. All right. When you don't know how to treat your patients, they're going to up and leave. When you get negative reviews, as if you type in the medical facility by the Pullman building. That's all I'm going to say. I ain't going to tell you the address. Look at the reviews. And you tell me. All right? But they are night and day. All right? They are the nicest people. And then my wife said, okay, does so-and-so still practice? Oh, yes. Okay, so now you have 3 incidents. One of me going head-to-head with the doctor, right? Now you have more than 3. You have the lady throwing the stuff at my wife, which I detailed in the first video. Now you have the lion, right? That's got to stop. And now you have where I specifically told one doctor not to screw with my stuff. Now you have the same doctor who's still writing prescriptions even after, right? I told her I don't want nothing to do with it. You have that. So it made my head spin. So the lady on the other end from the Slippery Rock place is like, is there anything else? I said, yeah. And I just gave her a summary. She's like, well, you can tell so-and-so when you come to see her. So we're going to see her June 19th, 8 a.m., and I'm going to squash all this. because I'm going to tell this primary care doctor, who I love and hold dear to my heart, I'm glad she is who she is, because personality plays a big role in your job. I mean, think about it. Think about this. Okay, if you're a mean old drunk, right, and you in charge of a construction crew, you gonna be nothing but shitty to them, and you ain't gonna get the good work. However, if you a cool person and you're easygoing and nice, you gonna get all the people to work for you. It don't take a genius to figure that out, right? So I cannot wait to step foot in this in the Slippery Rock facility, and it's shorter. So anyway, peep this. So that was last night. I put the whole thing to bed, and I said, you know what, honey? I said, we're going to go bed. So I go to work today, feeling a little bit weight lifted off my shoulders, because now we are going to a new doctor's office, right? So I come home. Now the office manager called me. And she called me, and she basically said, hey, since they pushing this damn sleep study bullshit on me, I said, look, can we go here? Well, no, you can't go here. They don't have a doctor. So I suggest you go talk to your primary care doctor. I said, you know what? We done. I said, and here's why we done. Okay? So I outlined everything from the initial incident to the paper throwing, to the lying, to the screaming. All right? To the doctor coming in the room half naked. I mean, all that stuff. I documented it all once again. And I said, you know something? I'm 45 years old. All right? I have never in my life been treated like this. And I said, I don't know how you deal with this. I said, look it up on review. Look up the reviews. I ain't got to tell you nothing new. So she did. Maybe she didn't. I don't know. But then she apologized. And I'm like, you know what? We far past that. You wanted to make it right. I said the one thing. You know what I said? I said, if this doctor would sit down and talk to me as a human being and talk to me like she was actually interested in me instead of bulldozing the whole session, that might have been thing one. Thing two, maybe being dressed appropriately would have been a perfect thing to do when you're a doctor. And thing three, maybe not treating me like crap, hanging up on me and lying to me. And I said to her, I said, you know what? I ain't got to tell you nothing. I said, there's negative reviews out here. I said, and here's the thing. So I played a little business smart on him, right? I was like, you know what? The more negative reviews you get, people are going to stop coming to your facility because they're going to be in fear that they ain't going to get the service they deserve. And so we left. I hung up the phone. I said goodbye. I thanked her for everything she did, because she's one of the better ones. In fact, she's probably the only one of two that are down there that are worth the damn. And you know what? It shouldn't even have come to this, because most times you go to the doctor, you want a friendly face. You want somebody that cares about you as a person, not because you have something health related wrong. You want the doctor to be your best friend. You want to talk to him about anything, even about crap you can't tell your wife. And you want the doctor to be there to help you out. Not make you feel worse. Not make you go through a ton of tests you don't need to go through. And not, saying, okay, I don't care about him. Whatever, this is what I want to do. No, you don't do that. But that's in any profession. Imagine waitresses. Waiters and waitresses, if they came in here and they didn't care about the people that they serve, how many of us would leave restaurants covered in food and shrimp and Coca-Colas down our back and all over our shirts? That's not how society works. Society works because people do things for other people because they are civil about it. That's how society works. And I don't know. But the whole thing is, it just made me sick. It was an unnecessary thing to go to. And I don't like the fact that it had to come to this. Because I've never in my life had an experience like that with anybody. Even my worst enemy didn't have an experience like that. But I figured some of you might want to know that, hey, we're done. And the funny thing is that right after we had made the decision, which was like 5 seconds after that phone call, right? Because you can't trust nobody down in that office. So 5 minutes after the phone call, my wife's talking to her friends, from the company and all this other thing where she works. And they were like, oh yeah. So a couple of them jumped on. So she was up till about 8:30 last night, just trading war stories and listening to them. And again, if the pattern doesn't change, then you know it's a constant. And you know there's something wrong with this office. So you could title this Bad Doctor's Office too. Greg goes off on a rant about this and that. But my point is, things could have been handled a lot better had people in that profession been civil. And I actually told the office manager today, I said, you know what? I can put myself back in my shoes, leaving that office, and it took every amount of courage for me not to snap on every one of them because they deserved it. And if I would have said some choice words to this doc, I wouldn't have felt the least bit bad about it because I would have told her exactly what she was and exactly how I think about her. I don't know why I'm getting so mad. Maybe she just hit a nerve. I don't know. But I hope none of you out there watching my video, I hope none of you go through the garbage that I went through and had to swim through and just say to hell with it. We're done. I mean, seriously. Because in life, there's right and wrong. And that was clearly wrong. And I was done wrong. And the worst part about it is, there's not going to be, other than the office manager saying she's sorry about what happened, there's not going to be, hey, Greg, sorry. Hey, Greg, here's a free dinner for your trouble. Hey, Greg, no. They're going to go on business as usual. Because why? Because those doctors don't give a damn. And I don't give a damn about them. That's why I left. So I'm sorry to go on a 16-minute tirade here. I can see the clock up there. But I just figured somebody out there might benefit from this, And notice I didn't drop any names. I didn't drop any names, so y'all can't come after me. So, with Memorial Day coming up, I'm going to try to do some more reviews. I've been telling people about Southern Comfort and tell them to check out the review, and seems like it's a pretty cool movie. A lot of people want to know about it, catch a buzz about it. A lot of people never heard it, and I'm glad I could bring that to your attention. So, I'm glad that I'm going to watch Darkman. We're going to try to watch the 2 sequels this weekend, Darkman and Darkman 2. We are going to try to do reviews on those. I know we're a little bit behind at times, guys. I know that. But then at the end of the Darkman reviews, we are going to, hopefully, if I can remember right, we're going to do Dr. Giggles, another classic with Larry Drake as a psychotic mental patient who thinks he's a doctor. Very gory, very bloody, very dark satire-ish slasher film. So hopefully we're going to do all that. We're going to close out the Larry Drake chapter, if you will. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to tell you. And I'm sorry that I got off on a rant, but some things you just become passionate about, and some things, when you've been done wrong. That's what I'm trying to say.